Welcome to Such Nice Work. I'm Kendra. You can find me as CutseypuCreations on YouTube, Ravelry, Instagram, and Etsy. And all the information will be linked below, as well as information, other things I talked about today. So it's been a few weeks since my birthday, so since Christmas. I think it's about maybe a little more than 3 weeks. I think it's just over 3 weeks. I was going to podcast at 3 weeks, and then I went to the Winter Wool Festival in Amigo on Saturday, so I waited till after that because I knew I'd have pretty things to show you. So I waited. So by the time you see this, there should be hopefully a CutseypuCreations group on Ravelry. Yeah, and I think that's what it's going to be called, CutseypuCreations. And that'll have, I don't know, whatever I end up putting in there. There'll be some giveaways and things, and I'll talk about that later. Anyways, as far as whips from 2015, we talked about that last time, and Steve mocked me about it. But I realized after fully going through everything I had that I have 22 items coming in. It's 2016 from 2015. And between December 25th and the end of the year, I worked on them. And I finished 6 of those. 6 out of 22. So he can't make fun of me too bad. Now, I haven't finished any more of them since then, but that's because winter camp started, and I will talk about that. But the things that I finished in my whip list, the first one I finished was a Christmas tree skirt, which was actually one of the first items I started to make with the intent to sell. It is this. It is a gigantic, and it looks really pretty in person. It is made out of Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn Metallic in red, green, and white. And, you just lay it around the tree and it'll be pretty. It looked really nice with our tree, actually, so I am a little up in the air as to whether or not I'm going to sell this one. But I think I might sell this one, and I want to make myself one in some different colors. But I don't know. I've been living with this for a long time, like over a year this project's been on board, and it was one of those things, it just needed to go sit in the naughty corner and figure out how it wanted to be put together. And I'm actually really, really happy with how it turned out. This yarn was really nice to work with. I really like the white with the metallic in it. I don't know. It's just very cheerful. It's also in the next project that I finished, which I was making with leftovers, actually, from the white from that. And I talked about this a very large number of podcasts ago, but I was making stationery holder, and this one, I called it my rainbow fish stationery holder because I made it a little fishy and it's all sparkly and reminded me of the rainbow fish. But the cool thing about this, I had the whole case done and the fish done. I just hadn't sewed it together like I needed to because apparently I have an issue with finishing things. And so far this year, I have been fixing that issue. I have been finishing the things that I start. And by finishing, I mean ends woven, things done, not putting off all the fiddly bits I don't like. But on this, I needed a closure, and I didn't have a good button around. And then I found a tutorial that mentioned that you can make your own crocheted buttons, and I thought, well, that's smart. So I made a crocheted button, which you can see. It's out of the same fabric and yarn, and it just goes through the hole, one of the holes in the stitching on the edge. And I think this is my new favorite closure for these stationery cases, and actually for a lot of things. So I'm probably going to be making more crocheted buttons in the future. So I finished that, and that was exciting. And then I also finished a unicorn by Melissa Trinato. It's called Annabelle the Unicorn. I had started it last year. Actually, this summer I started it as part of a crochet along in her group. And I had most of the pieces done. I got to making the curls for the unicorn, and I was supposed to be making stuff for a booth, and it just didn't get done. So I had all the parts sitting in a bag, and so I finished the unicorn, and then I put a little heart on it. It says, like, you're magical, and I used a drinking straw, and I glued that to the back of the heart, and then I ran the straw through the stitching in the unicorn, so the unicorn's holding it like a little, thought bubble or just a cute thing for Valentine's. So that is up for sale right now. I also finished a sheep, which I had done in a crochet along with one of the amigurumi groups, and I had just never finished it because I I don't know. I wasn't really happy with the pattern, the way the designer did it, and I didn't want to mess with it. It turned out okay, and I made like a heart-shaped face for it, and it has a little sign above it that says, I love you, EWE. So that's that. As far as things I finished that are also not here, I also made an icy headband, is what I called it. I can't remember the name of the colorway. Anyways, there's a Red Heart Super Saver variegated color that is like a whole bunch of blues, and they're kind of the blues from Frozen, and I think they're really pretty. I've made some dolls that have them as dresses, and this was the leftovers from that. So I made it into a headband, like a child-size headband, and then I made a white snowflake motif and sewed it on, and then I edged the whole thing in white, and it turned out really cute. But it is also up at the store for sale. And then I showed this last time, I think, and that I wasn't sure I was going to do with it. This is the Lisa shawl, which became like a shawlette cowl. It's like incredibly beaded, and I really like it. It hangs really nice. I'm already wearing a cowl, so it's going to look kind of weird. But it, I don't know, it's just the right size, and I wore it a couple times. It looks really nice under a jean jacket, so I'm sure that especially as we get into the spring, when I'm looking more toward things for fashion and less for function, this will be one of those things, because it is cotton yarn. It does provide a decent amount of warmth just because, you know, it's a lot of fabric in a small space, but it's not nearly as warm as the other shawl options I have. And I finished one other thing that I started and finished between Christmas and New Year's, which I made this headband. This is all of the leftover yarn. I had the Taki Yarns New Tweed that I made, that cram cardi, which turned into a cardigan vest for myself. This is the leftovers from that. And I just went on New Stitch a Day to use their Stittionary. Their Stitch Dictionary. And I found a stitch that I liked. And I picked the pistachio stitch the pistachio stitch because I like the idea of having a pistachio nut headband. I don't know. I don't know why it was appealing to me based purely on name, but it was. And the stitch is pretty. And it's lacy, but not too lacy, so it still looks nice when it's in my hair. I've actually worn a decent amount because I've worn that vest a decent amount. It's a very nice weight for right now. So I've been wearing those. And that is everything that I did up till 7 p.m. on December 31st, when winter camp started. So for winter camp, I have been crafting all the things. I think New Year's Eve, I think I started 6 projects, 5 or 6. And so that was pretty cool, and I've gotten a lot of them done. So far, I have finished, to the point where I can count them for points, 13 projects. I have some dishcloths, which I'm trying to amass more of, so I can count them as like a project with a certain weight rather than individual small ticket items, I guess. But yes, so the first thing that I finished as far as winter camp was concerned is this. I called it my Sublime Kiss. Oh, so this year, as part of my being fun, because I'm 31 thing, I'm giving all of my projects fun names. So I actually have to make project pages on Ravelry. It actually matters and is worth me giving projects names. Plus, I have been keeping a like written paper journal of my projects, which has really been helping me get things done and not letting whips just kind of languish. I know what's out there. I know what I need to work on, and I've been doing better about staying on and with things. So, anyways, I named this one my Sublime Kiss Cowl. It is made out of Sublime Luxurious Merino DK, something like that. I left my notebook that has the name for the yarn in the other room. But it was a single 25-gram skein that I bought at the yarn store by my in-laws in California. And these buttons I've actually had in my stash since high school. When I was in high school, I used to work at a fabric store. And so I amassed a lot of crafting supplies because, you know, when you're in high school and work at a fabric store, you have lots. So anyways, the dog was upset because my dad's cousin, who actually farms our land, came to tell me that he cut down some firewood for us. So I had to go deal with that. The dog is very protective. He's very sweet. He just doesn't really like people on our property, especially because we don't get a lot of people on our property. So it makes him kind of upset, especially when they come to the door. I've had more than one conversation through the screen door now because Kuma won't let me out to talk to people in the yard all the time. Anyways, so what was I talking about? Oh yes, where I'm at. Okay, so I turned the Sublime Kiss cowl in for bonus points for the color purple. And then I made these ornaments. They are a free pattern by the featured designer Rachie Sells Stuff. And these ornaments were really nice. I've made kind of the mint-shaped things before. I thought these turned out really nice compared to some of the other methods, I guess, that I've used. I liked this one. So I think I would make more of these. And I suggest you look at this pattern if you're looking for something quick. You could tie these on like a little gift. That'd be cute. Like around a bottle of wine or something. I don't know. So I made those. Then I made this ear flap hat. So I got bonus points for that because of the designer. And then I got bonus points for this because it's a hat. So I got all the bonus points I had possible. And this is made out of Super Saver in the color Bikini. Hence the name Bikini Love, because all of the things I made leading up to Valentine's, I tried to put love or something like love in the title, so I could kind of tell that. And the colors kind of pooled in kind of a nifty way. And I put little hearts, and I made braids. I'd never put braided tassels on before, but this hat's really stinking cute. So, in fact, I've made several things that are really stinking cute lately. So, I made that, and I finished this cowl, which I called my Chateau Chalette cowl, because most of these yarns are the natural colors, and those I think are called the Chateau, and then the green is dyed, and so it's the Chalet. It was a chainette style yarn, and I will definitely make something out of chainette style yarn again, because I really liked it. It's got a bunch of alpaca in it, and it's all warm and snuggly, and the colors are really nice. There's two, a light and a dark gray, a green, and a brown. So it's really neutrally, but it'll go with a lot of the different neutral tops and stuff that I have. And right now it's doubled. But when I wear it single, it goes down to about the top of my pants. So that's that. And then I also made a pair of mittens, my Bikini Love mittens, to match the little hat. I've never made mittens before, I don't think. I've made fingerless mitts, but never full mittens. So I made these, and they were cute, and I think there will be some more mittens, maybe, this winter. We'll see. So I made those, and these have really long cuffs with the intention that when you wear them under your coat, they don't, have that gap where then your arm gets cold. That's no good. I also finished a cowl, which is up for sale right now. It was going to be a shawl, but then I ran out of yarn because I was just using my leftovers. And often I'll use leftovers, and I just kind of find a pattern I like, I go with it, and I just go as far as I can. So it was a shawl that became a cowl, and I actually think that for most people it'd probably be more functional to wear that way anyways. And then I took the leftovers of that yarn, and I made this cuff, which is made out of Lion Brand tweed stripes in mixed berry colorway. It turned out cute. I played with this. This is 9 grams. This is all that I had left, and I didn't know what I was going to do with a teeny tiny amount of super bulky yarn. So I just started playing with it, and I did it a few different ways. I really liked the way it looked when I did the double treble crochets to make the X's, which you probably can't even tell are on there. But I just didn't have enough yarn for it. So I tried it with trebles, didn't have enough yarn for that, and I think these are double crochet crosses. Yeah. That's what I ended up having enough yarn to finish. So I did that. And I made a scarf to match the hat as well, and it has a little heart on it. I started making this, I don't know, during the day one day. I started watching a new show on Netflix, Monarch of the Glen. It's pretty funny. They're Scottish, so like when I watch, oh my goodness, Helen, Sprite 966 Orange Maid. I forget what, Sprite 966 on YouTube. Anyways, when I watch her, I have to turn the volume up too, because I can understand the Scottish accent, but only really loud. So maybe there is something to when people that have a different accent than you speak really loud in your face, because it's going to help you. I'd have to turn the volume up a little. But it's really rude to do that to other people. Then after I finished the scarf, I was looking through my stash, and I had this obnoxious pink eyelash yarn, which I got to make some garlands. I have a bunch of it in silver, too. And this is Yarn Bee Gilt Eyelash, which it actually, once it's all, like, done, it feels really nice. It was kind of gross to work with, though. And just really difficult to see your stitches. But the funny thing is, once it's all done, you can't tell. I don't know if there are errors in here, but if there are, no one will know. So I called this my Love It and Hate It shawl, because I kind of love it and I kind of hate it. But it's pretty cute. Hubby thinks it looks like a Muppet. I kind of have to agree. But you could wear it, you know. You could either wear it, like, wrapped around in some way. Again, it looks ridiculous because I'm wearing a cowl. Or it looks ridiculous because it's tinsel. That could be the reason. But it actually, if you were the right person to carry this off, which I do not think I am, because number one, I'm a grown-up, and I am not a grown-up who should wear tinsel. But I know some grown-ups who should wear tinsel. But yeah, so it could be like a little shawl, or on a kid, it would be super, super cute. I wanted to put it actually on the mannequin in my booth, if for no other reason than to be kind of obnoxious and pink and fun. So that's that. And I entered this in the Penhook and Needles podcast into their shawl and sweater along. I'm trying to enter into more groups on Ravelry, into more of the cowls and stuff, just because I think it's kind of cool to, like, find a yarny community, and finding ones that I feel comfortable entering crocheting is not always easy, and yeah. So I did that, and the next thing I worked on was my Obrio My Riot cowl, made out of Barocco Brio in the color Riot. And posted a picture I actually liked of this on Instagram. It's super, super warm. And it, when I wear it, it sticks up, kind of like, sticks out from my neck a little. It's very close and tall, so it keeps the heat in all around my face. I had this on yesterday, and it was very, very cozy. And I have several sweater top things that bring out the jewel tones really, really well. And again, with this, I just went to the Stitch Dictionary and found a stitch that I liked and went with it and made it up as I went along, because I was originally going to make the Tagdale cowl, but once I started doing it, I realized the method involves a decrease, which that yarn is extremely thick and thin, and the decrease was not working for me. So it just wasn't making the yarn look as pretty as it should. So I quit doing that, but I definitely want to make a Tagdale cowl because I like the texture of the finished cowl. I just need to do it out of a yarn that is more consistent. And then I made a pair of wrist warmers. And I made those for the 2016 Weekly and Dishcloth Cowl group, which I just joined. And every week they post a crochet pattern for like an item, and then they post a dishcloth on Wednesdays. So my goal is to do Washcloth Wednesday as well as do the weekly cowl. And I picked this up a week late, but I've already went back and made the stuff for week 1, and I finished the items for week 2, so now I'm working on week 3 stuff. No, I've only finished one of the dishcloths. I need to finish dishcloth number 2, which I will do before Wednesday. So for that, I made the Love and Warm Wrists. Oh, my Love and Warm Wrists, which was out of a pattern from Hobby Lobby called Have a Hand. And they are fingerless mitts with like this fold down top thing. So I did them in 2 colors of purple, and they're like long. They go down to like here. They're quite substantial. I used Vanna's Choice for that, and last time I used Vanna's Choice, I really didn't like the yarn. So I'd kind of written it off, but I had some in stash. So I used that, and the purple ones were really nice textured. So I don't know if it was just the color that I'd used, because I know that happens with like all yarns. I don't know if it's just based on dye process or what, but that the texture on some of the colors will be awesome and others not so much. So I would definitely use Vanna's Choice again now, which I don't think I would have before. But I would have to go on a color by color basis. So that, and I also, for that group, made week 2's item was a dragon scarf, which I named mine Hot Stuff, the Lovely Dragon, and here it is. It's currently up on my booth. It's sitting on top of my card display because it's fun, and people should see how fun it is. I think there will definitely be more dragon scarves in my future because it was really cute. My son asked, he's like, oh no, I'm scared of dragons. I said, no, it's a friendly dragon. He looked, he went, it is a friendly dragon. I don't know what it is about the shape of its face, but it is. It's very friendly. Which, you know, with a dragon, it could, okay, a crochet dragon in purple and red is probably not going to be ferocious looking, but it could be. So, this one was a friendly dragon. And then I also finished this hat, which I call my Love Pink and Black square hat, which it looks like just a square right now. But when you wear it on your little toddler dome, it ends up with these little, like, ear things that stick up. And it's so cute. So, there's that. I was considering putting eyes and, like, a face on it, like making it like a cat or an owl or something. But it really is just kind of cute the way it is. I've also considered putting pom-poms on the ends. So there might be pom-poms getting added to this. We'll see. I've never actually put pom-poms on something. Maybe I should. Because I already, I put braids on something for the first time. I should put pom-poms. We'll see. And then on to my whips. Will I procrastinate or will I prioritize? Well, so far I've been doing a lot better about prioritizing. So I'm hopeful that's the direction I'm going to keep going. The first thing is this purple and black, dropping things. My purple and black colorwork hat out of Ella Ray Alpaca Chunky, something like that. There are project pages for all of these things if you would like to go see more about them. But it is going to be, I'm using the chart from the Frozen Snowflake Beanie, which is a paid pattern. But the gauge is a little different, so I had to change that up. I actually had like 2/3 of this hat done, and then I wasn't happy with the gauge the yarn was at. So last night I frogged it all and redid this. So hopefully I'll have my hat soon because I want to wear it. And the colors are really close together, I know, but it'll end up with a really subtle snowflake, which I'm kind of cool with. Number one, I like this for the first time doing kind of a colorworky project. Well, this is the second time I've done colorworky stuff because I made a bear hat last year, which I was not very happy with the results. But I think it may have been partially pattern based. I don't know. But I thought that if the colors were kind of close, that would be good because it would cover up my inconsistency. So the inside of my floats and stuff are turning out, I don't even know if you can see that, they are turning out really nice and even, and I am very happy with the inside. But I kind of like the idea of doing the color work because it would make me a thicker, warmer hat. This is alpaca, so it'll be nice and cozy. And I've been working on these out of these bowls, my yarn bowls that I use. These are, like, I got them at antique stores. I mean, I don't know that they're super antique, but they're old. They're like vintage, I guess. Glass bowls. And I have one in green and I have one in gold. And I like them because the yarn rolls really nice out of them, and they have these like fluted edges, so they work like a quote-unquote yarn bowl, but they are not, technically. But they're pretty, and they were in my cabinet, and now my pretty things from my cabinet are getting used, and that is good, because there is just not always the opportunity to use all the pretty glassware that I have. So I've been working on that, and I've been working also on my seashell shawl. And I'm not going to work on this shawl long enough to learn to say it right. I'm hoping, because it's going pretty quick already. So I am here. After this, I will put progress keepers on everything, though hopefully some of them will be done before I film again. But I don't know, maybe I'll film shortly. But I'm right here. So I'm using a pattern called Arrogancet Girl. And this yarn was hand dyed at the spinning and weaving place in Solvang. And I believe the name is like Spinning and Weaving Shop. So it's really pretty. I really like these colors. They match my Cutseypu colors, so hopefully I will finish this for the summer and be able to like wear it with like a black tank top or something when I do some summer things. plus it's just gorgeous and it's been fun to work on. So, there is that, and that is in a bag that I made. I originally made this one for my daughter. She was not as enthused by it as I was, and she gave it back to me for something, and I don't think she's going to get it back, because I actually really like it. So, there's that, though I need to make her another bag. Because she has been working on things and needs things to keep things in. Things. Then I have also been working on this shawl, my Multiplicity shawl. And this is being made out of Line Brand Sock Ease in the exciting color green. And I actually won this yarn in a giveaway from a Stash Buster group that I was involved in for a little bit on Ravelry. And I've been wanting to make this pattern out of this yarn since I got the yarn. It's called the Multiplicity shawl, and it ends up with buttons on it, and there are a whole bunch of different ways you can wear it. And I have some wooden buttons that have also been in stash since I was in high school that I think would make a really fun addition with the screen, and that these would make a really cool addition to my wardrobe. So I am excited to work on this some more. I've also entered this in the Penhook and Needle shawl along as well. I think I need to post pictures of the seashell shawl in that group, which I haven't done yet, but I will. And if you are not doing that, then you should go over there and check it out, because it's really cool. You can post one picture per object per week, as well as one picture per FO. So, there's a lot of pretty stuff happening in that group, and there's a lot of chatter and, you know, excitement and such. So, go check it out. And I've also been working on my Leona, which is going to be a sweater vest made out of Barocco Lindsay, which is a cotton linen. See, my effort to get things ready before I actually need them. I'm working on summer projects, despite the fact it is winter, so that I can wear them when it is warm again. And I'm this far. I'm a little confused what part of the garment I am making right now. When I look at the image, it did not really show that there was a neck, but when I went and read project notes as I was working on it, people said there is a large, like, neck floof kind of thing that you can't really see in the picture. So I think I've made the neck floof, for lack of a term, not even a better term, a term, the neck floof. And I'm about to split for the arms and the back, based on where I am in the instructions, which, now that I realize, I'm a little concerned, though not really concerned, that I might be doing this in the wrong size. I have tried it in, I think this is the third try. I made an extra large, I made a large, and now I'm making a medium. I think that's right. Anyways, I'm making the medium now, because that's kind of where it felt like it wrapped around me when I tried it. But then I'm kind of worried that if it's the neck thing, that I'm just hoping it's the right size. That it's big enough, but not too big, and I hope I have enough yarn. I think I will. And I really like the fabric is really nice. I was also a little concerned with that when I started working with it. I wasn't sure, the linen, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but then once I got into it a little ways, I'm liking the way it's going to drape, I think. And I like the feeling of it. It's going to make a nice summer garment, which I would like the ability to wear the stuff I make all year long, not just when it's cold. So, that's the Leona, and you will see more of her, I'm assuming, because I don't think I will get that done quite yet. Like I said, I had been working on some dishcloths. These I were just making for fun. I made up this pattern. I call it an I Love You, and I think I'm going to put together a free pattern and post it on Ravelry, so hopefully that will be up soon. So there's that, and I have the base for the next U. I just haven't put it all together. And then for that weekly and dishcloth towel group, their Washcloth Wednesday for the first week was a linen stitch dishcloth. So I made this one, and then I made this one, and then I made this one, and then I made this one, all in an effort to catch up. I haven't decided I'm going to make any more. I kind of was thinking I might make 7, so there'd be a whole week's worth of them in these colors. But we'll see. I might move on to a different dishcloth. Dishcloths are kind of fun right now. I skipped the whole dishcloth phase when I initially started crocheting, and now I'm enjoying them. I am also enjoying them because I'm willing to, if I start doing a pattern I just don't like it, I stop. That's what I figured out dishcloths. I know pretty quickly whether or not I like working the particular pattern with the dishcloth cotton. And if I don't, I just frog it and start over with something else because it's not worth making things I'm not enjoying. Okie dokie. What else have I been working on? Oh, if you follow me on Instagram, then you have been seeing a lot of pictures of my mood blanket. Every day, in fact, or, well, every few days, because it's not that I haven't been making the squares every day, because I have, but it has been extremely gloomy here. Today there is sun, but I swear we went like 2 weeks without any sun. So, the gray days, I don't always get pictures, and then whenever I am awake and the sun is decent in the place where I can take my pictures on my porch, I take all the pictures that I need to. So some days you get a lot of backlog. But anyways, here is my stack of squares. The way I decided to do the mood blanket is I picked 4 colors. First I picked this color, this variegated, that was in my stash. And it is going to connect all my pieces. And I decided I'm going to do 28-day rows, and I'll make 28 columns, I guess. I'll make 13 rows. I'm going to put them together at the end of every 28-day period. I'll connect them all, and then at the end of the month, I will connect the strips together. So by the end of the year, hopefully I won't have as much stuff to connect. And then I picked 4 colors to match. I picked this purple, which is for good days, and this green, the sage green. Oh, the purple is actually lavender Red Heart Super Saver. And then the sage green, which is for okay days on the good side of okay. And then, let's see, in here somewhere, oh, here we go, this is Frosty Green from Super Saver, and that's for okay days on the bad side of okay. And then for the bad days, I picked the brownish one, which is Beige Fleck, which I really like this yarn. I've made some toys out of it and other things, and I just like it. So I decided I'd put that in my blanket. So I'm putting together this blanket for myself, and we'll see. So far, I have been sticking to it. Hey, for me to stick with something for like almost 3 weeks, that's pretty good. So I'm enjoying that, and it's keeping me posting and checking in on Instagram, and I'm having fun with that too. That is all of the things that I am working on. Now I have pretty things to show you that I am working with, or will be soon. So in hoarding my mountain of good intentions, because I am becoming very aware that I am endlessly full of good intentions, and I am terribly forgetful when it comes to actually following through on those. Lots of times things just fall by the wayside because I'm doing too many things at once, because, you know, whatever. So anyways, I went to Winter Wool Fest in Wamego, where I managed to lock my keys in the car. Because I went to take my first batch of purchases out to the car so that I didn't have to carry them all around all day. And then I put my keys in my purse so that I wouldn't lock them in my car. And I locked the door using the button on the door itself. I went to pick my purse up, and when I did that, my purse fell over. Well, so I went back and just swooped it up and put it on my arm, and off I went. Then I went out later to unload my second batch of purchases and realized I didn't have my keys in my purse. I looked all over, and then I lean over and look at the seat over the door, and they're sitting right there. So I called my hubby, and he was very nice, and he came and brought me my keys and my daughter, and so she got to go to the Tunisian crochet class with me. Terrible, but I am at the Wamego Fiber Fest in Wamego. Winter Wool Fest, yeah, whatever. I told you I was coming and that I was going to wear my shawl and like Christy from Straw Family Farms, meet my shawl. And so here is Christy. Hello. So we know who you are, so yes. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Christy of the Straw Family Farm, and we're a farm down in Oklahoma that is certified by the Department of Agritourism, and we're a learning farm. So we have everything from sheep to goats to cattle, and we teach just about a little bit of everything.
So what did you do today in Wamego?
I hung out with Kendra, who is awesome, by the way. I helped my son with his booth, and he is the manual labor, but he sets it up and all that, and I just fill in when I need to, but I do teach a class.
We've got bags and yarn. Yeah, it's a little picked over, mostly by me. You'll get to see what I got at the end of the episode when I do all my stash enhancement. Most of it from the Straw Family Farms. And you can find them on Etsy.
Well, we actually have a link, and it's easier for me to remember to go to farmontheprairie.com.
Cool.
Or barnontheweb.com, which has a kid-friendly blog from RJ.
Cool. And that'll all be linked below because I'm remembering to do links this year, 2016. We're going to remember.
Yeah.
Well, you will hear more from me and Christy because there will be more collaborations coming this year.
I went to this fiber festival with the intent of, in addition to meeting Christy and RJ, also coming home with some of her handspun. So, the first thing I did after I went upstairs, well, first I ran downstairs, and then I went upstairs, and I met them. And then I was going to do some other things, and I was like, no, I need to go and buy their yarn before other people buy it out from under me. So I bought this, which is purple and wonderful, and different tones of purple. And it is going to make me a nice, massive shawl. I am not actually sure how many yards are in here. I can't tell if it's 488 or 70. It looks like more than 488 based on the fact that this, which I got to go with it, is 280. Because when I weighed them, this is more than twice as much as this. So I don't know what I'm going to end up with, but it's going to be kind of garden-y, which you'll see as I work on that. But I have some things I need to finish before I can do that. So I got those, and I also bought a skein of yarn since we watch their podcast as a family. Well, me and the kids do. Steve, not so much. But the kids know the Straw Family through their podcast, and I thought that they would each enjoy if I made them something out of some handspun that I bought. So I got this red and black sparkly number for my daughter because she likes things that are red and sparkly. She can't go wrong with red and sparkly. And my middle son likes orange, so I got this, which is kind of creamsically colored. And then I got this one for my youngest. And this is only 26 yards, but I was talking to RJ, and he said this is the one thing that he has spun start to finish himself. And I think that the bluish, purplish, white color will look good on my son. I think I might make like a hat or a cowl or something. So, I'm going to get to play around with these, and the kids thought they were cool. So, we've all been looking at patterns and trying to decide what to make with those things. That is, oh, I bought one more thing from their booth. Ooh, crinkly. Whew. I took a Tunisian crochet class I mentioned, and Christy taught that. And whoop, it's supposed to come with a hook, but instead I bought an entire package of hooks, which has all the sizes I will ever want, which is cool. And the wooden Tunisian hooks work a lot better than the metal ones, which frequently I have found, especially with acrylics, that I like using metal hooks rather than wood. But for the Tunisian, I like those better because I have a metal one and I didn't like it as well. So that's that. And then Christy also gave me a few gifts for the kids. These little treasure pouches that they sell. You can put your things in them. This one's my daughter's. Right now, I don't think there's anything in it. She had bracelets and things in it already. And then this one was from my son. And it had, he had cars in it, like, as soon as I got it home for him. And then they also gave me a little pouch that has a magnetic closure. I don't have it right now. It's on my refrigerator because my youngest decided that since it has a magnet, it clearly belongs on the fridge. So the pouch has been living on the fridge, which is kind of funny and cool. And I also got a sample of their delicious smelling soap, which doesn't really smell like anything. It just smells really, really clean, which is how I think soap should smell. And then she gave me something to give to you. So, what I have to give away is this. Ooh, it's reflecting because it has a clear plastic. See, here's my little hand. Ooh. So it has this project bag, which has flowers all over it. And I thought that I would get something with like a garden theme, because that seems to be a big thing in my life. And as an effort to grow the podcast, and I know that Christy is working on growing her shop. So if you would go to their website, which you can find here. Oop, shiny, shiny, shiny. Okay, so it's farmontheprairie.com, and the information will also be below here. You can go over there and check it out, and then if you want to check out their Etsy shop, that would be great. And then if you would come over to my group on Ravelry, there will be a thread there where you can enter to win this project bag, and I will probably add something to it, which I have not put together yet. But there will be a little bit more besides just the project bag. But if you come over to my group on Ravelry, you can enter in the thread and let me know, why don't you tell me which animal on the Straw Family Farm you would be most interested in seeing? And if you want to see some really fun pictures, in addition to on RJ's blog, there are some really good pictures of their animals on their YouTube videos, which I highly recommend you check out. So, you go to their website and their Etsy shop and all that stuff, and then you come to my page on Ravelry, join my group to help it grow, and you tell me which animal you would most want to play with. And if that animal's RJ, I understand. He was pretty fun to meet, too. I don't know if he knew what to make of me, but I don't know that anybody knows what to make of me. Anyways, I did buy a few other things while I was at the Fiber Festival. I bought a ball of yarn with which to do the Tunisian class, because I wasn't sure whether it was just going to be like a technique thing or whether we're going to make an item. So I bought yarn to like make an item, and I will use it to make something. And this is my little swatch that I ended up leaving class with. And like I mentioned before my camera cut out, my daughter got to come bring me my keys with my husband. So she got to stay, and she has been Tunisian crocheting. Actually, while I went to reload the battery for this, she was following along with the newly uploaded tutorials from Straw Family Farms on how to Tunisian crochet. So I bought this yarn from this company called Treasure Goddess Yarn, like a pirate. And the color is Pieces of 8. This is in their DK Treasures. It's hand-dyed DK weight, 100% superwash merino, 100 grams, 250 meters. Super cute. The yarn just had a really nice color to me. I went by this booth like 6 times before I actually bought it. But I really like the way that it looks. Okay. And the minions are waking up. So I have one more thing. Two more things. Anyways, the booth that was next to Straw Family Farms was called Knit Spin by Meg Wickham. And I got this 100% merino, approximately 200 yards of hand spun. It is super soft. And it's pinks and blues and purples. Christy asked if I like purple. I guess I do. I was looking at all my finished objects and almost every one of them is purple. Even though I try not to just buy purples, because that's the problem I had with fabric. I bought a whole bunch of purple. But purple yarn, I'm going to make a hat, because I want a hat that looks like this. And the last thing that I came away with was I took a class by Alpacas of Wildcat Hollow on how to make a roving rug. And this is what I made in the time we were in the class. So this is the middle of my rug. And then you felt it when you're all done. So it's made out of alpaca roving, and it will feel nice on my feetsies. This isn't even a quarter of the fiber. The rest of it is in here. Thanks for watching. If you would go over to the Ravelry group, that would be great. Go check out Straw Family Farms. And, yeah, I'll see you in a few weeks. So if you made it this far, then I love you more than cows and cheese and applesauce. I hope you have a good one and continue to make such nice work.